with another film review, and today I had the pleasure of reviewing The Wind. The Wind is a very interesting film. It's definitely a slow burn. It involves a story that takes place in the Western or the Midwest, way back in the, I want to say, wait, what is the Midwest? Is it the 1800s? I want to say 1800s. And you have two couples. One is a little bit older, as you can see in this image here. It's her and her man, and there's a younger couple that comes along, and things just start getting weird. Not in the sense of, if you've seen films like Funny Games and Speak No Evil, not to that degree, but there is something going on within the area way before that young couple even came into the scene. And the film does a great job of narrating between past and present, but at the same time not making it so that it's like it doesn't look at it from the perspective that the audience is an idiot. But as long as you pay attention to the details and things that are going on, you can pretty much get the narrative of the film. Now, with paying attention, I can say I did see a lot of plot points were predictable. But it's weird because, like, how do you even define something being predictable? Is it really predictable if I was paying attention and then, like, okay, it happens at the end and this is the resolution, you know? Not that there's like a big final battle or anything, but there are certain key details early on. I'm like, that's peculiar, or I see where you're going with this, right? There's something within the wind, there's something within the town. You start noticing different things about the couples and the way they behave and the way that they language with each other, interact with each other. But then it starts focusing more on her perspective and the way that she views things. And the time I did mention earlier that the film feels kind of slow. It's because even though we get like I want to say romanticized of like how things were during that time period, a lot of the things and tasks that you do on a daily basis is kind of mundane, where you're taking care of the livestock, or you're just reading a book, or you're just doing this and you're doing that. So there's not really much going on. But it's like, it's doing these mundane things. It's doing these things of like expectations of like, okay, I do this and this is what happens. The film does a great job establishing that early on, that things become a little bit peculiar. You know, like you notice like, okay, I usually do this, but now this is subverting my expectations. But at the same time, paying attention to like the small little details make it predictable. So this is a film that I do recommend, with keeping in hindsight that you probably want to see it in the morning. You probably want to see it in the morning. It is a slow burn. You see it at the evening or the night, you may fall asleep. But I will say I think it was a great performance by this actress right here. She definitely does carry the films at time. She does get like the most screen time, and you kind of get in her psychosis as that she viewed things from her perspective, but then also other people's perspective, and then catching on a little too late to things and narrative purposes. Because like me as a viewer, the moment I see things, and I'm not saying things outside of her perspective, so from her perspective, the moment I see things, I'm like, hey, they said this doesn't make sense, or this gesture that they did, this tells me what they're really feeling, and I can infer what this is going to result in, right? But she does have a little bit of time to like, okay, this is what happens. Her jumps to conclusions does take a little bit of time. The ending is something that is, I guess, I'm not even sure if it's something to be desired. I think it was something that was, it's not even an angry ending. It's just like something that was like, I felt I went in this film and leaving the film the same way. It didn't really reinvent the wheel, but it did make me want to, I guess with this film and the other future films, pay attention to detail, pay attention to the narrative, pay attention to those gestures, and that it does pay off in the end. Without further ado, that concludes my review. But have you seen The Wind? What are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. And as always, subscribe and jaritos on me. Ciao.